So the 49ers are coming off of a disappointing loss against the Rams. And I got to say, after watching what happened last week with Deebo Samuel in his podcast, then hearing what Bosa said after the game, to then see the post from Demo is so frustrating as a 49er fan. And I'm going to show you everything just so that we're clear and we're on the same page here. But before we get into it, I do want to say anybody who's watched or followed for any significant amount of time on this channel knows that I'm an Oregon Duck fan, knows I was super excited when Demo was drafted. I really thought he could be a good player in this league, and he's been beyond that. I've been an advocate for signing him over Ward, if that's what it comes down to, because I just think he's a heck of a player and he's only ascending. But this here is not it. And I also don't put all the blame on Demo for this. This, to me, is a coaching issue. I think teams take on the personality of their head coach. Kyle Shanahan often doesn't seem to want to take any accountability in a public forum. And now you're seeing the 49ers players also not taking accountability, despite what Captain Nick Bosa had to say after this last Sunday's loss. Let's check this out here.
It sounds like you guys are pretty convinced.
So I'm going to let you know what we're going to do. We're going to watch what Deebo said on his podcast last week, both things that he said, just so that we're clear in what he said. And then we're going to watch Bosa in his post-game press conference from this last week. And then we're going to look at Demo's post from today on Twitter. Here we go.
So it sounds like you guys are pretty convinced that as long as everybody shows up, there's no doubt that you guys feel like it can be your year.
Kind of like what he said. Like, my eyes, like, we've been on the best team in the league for a while. It's either now or never. Like,
right.
That's how I kind of look at it. Like, with the guys that we have, like, we didn't. Like, I've been a part of, the best team in the NFL for the past going on 6 years.
Yeah.
And so, like, we always there. Like, we got to get it done.
As a captain.
So twice during that podcast, Deebo basically said, we're the best team. Like, we've been the best team. We just got to make it happen. Okay. Interesting choice for Deebo Samuel coming off of a loss versus the Vikings, and then Deebo Samuel also being injured in that game, talking a lot, but unable to go out on the field and help his teammates back up that talk. But here was Bosa after the loss to the Rams.
Now, what's your mindset as far as putting this behind you? What do you guys have to do? What does the leadership have to do on this team right now?
I think we have to feel the loss for sure. We can't just move on and act like it's fine. You feel the loss, and you just start stacking week by week.
Now, mind you, Bosa during this whole press conference was very somber, very frustrated with, I'm sure, his play, the team's loss, everything that goes into it. But as a captain of this team, he said, we need to feel the loss. To me, feeling the loss is taking it in, really thinking about it, not just assuming that everything's going to fix itself because we're super talented and we got great coaches and we've been the best team. None of that stuff. You got to take it, process it, understand it, and then move forward from it. But at the same time, you've really got to feel it. You got to know we lost that game. We weren't the better team on Sunday. We need to be better if we want to make a run. We can't just show up and expect to win week in and week out. This league is too hard. That's the way that I interpret that. Now, here's Demo today retweeting and talking trash to the Rams. A post that's 2 days old, by the way. By the way, this post was 2 days ago, I believe, from the Rams. And then today, he wants to get on Twitter and say this. And the Rams, by the way, what they are posting here, you can't see the full thing, but it's a graph showing the win probability throughout the game. And obviously, we know the 49ers had a 10-point lead late in the fourth quarter. The win probability was very high for the 49ers. And then obviously, the Rams end up coming back and winning. And that graph goes from way up here, win probability for the 49ers, to way down here, 100% win for the Rams. But what Demo says here is, oh, a garbage can get a steak every now and then. Patriots are on the clock. Listen, I'm all for trash talk. I love trash talk. When I hoop, or when I hooped, I should say, I'm not much of a hooper anymore. My knees and ankles are shot. But when I hooped, I talked so much ish on the court. I didn't stop talking. So I love trash talk. I love trash talk between the lines. I love trash talk if you've won the game. I have zero issue with it. What I do have an issue with, though, is when you're losing games and we're the best team, whatever, we should have won. The 49ers, Deebo Samuel in particular, does this a lot. He did this after they lost to the Eagles. And, of course, they blew him out last year, and everybody acted as if that just makes up for the NFC Championship loss that happened the season prior, because winning in the regular season is the exact same as going to a Super Bowl after winning. But I digress. While you are here, check out the sponsor of the channel, Underdog. Link is in the description, promo code LSS to get your free pick of the week. Patrick Mahomes just needs one passing yard in order for you to be a winner. Plus, they are doing a deposit match of 50% up to $1,000. Check them out. You can do more or less. You can play weekly, daily fantasy, whatever it is that you enjoy, but definitely check out my guys over at Underdog. Thank you, Underdog, for being a great sponsor. And what's crazy, and Deebo does this the most, what's crazy is Deebo last year talks a bunch of trash pregame against the Browns, gets hurt in that game, the 49ers lose. Then while he's out for the next few weeks, talks a bunch of trash to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's on the Lions. I mean, they're across the league. They don't even play each other that year. Now, they met in the playoffs, but they weren't on each other's schedule. And so he's out there writing a bunch of checks that his team has to go cash, by the way, talking all this trash. They go 0-3 with him out. Then this year, Deebo Samuel says, oh, we're the best team. But he does it after a loss. And then again when he's injured. So now his team, once again, has to go cash the checks that he's writing, but he's not playing in these games. And so they lose again. And Bosa pours his heart out, super frustrated. Is like, listen, we got to feel this loss. We have got to feel this loss. Oh, word? Is this feeling the loss? Does this look like it's feeling the loss? Just what does it portray? Whether you felt the loss or not, what does this portray? And then that brings me to Kyle Shanahan, who, to me, like I said, teams always take on the identity of their head coach. So what does Kyle Shanahan represent? Well, I mean, Kyle Shanahan represents, a guy that, to me, doesn't take accountability in big time moments a lot of the time. And here you go. You got a team not taking accountability, at least publicly, after losses. After your captain says, please take accountability. Please take this serious. I don't want to be up here next week after a loss. Now, listen, they're probably going to beat the Patriots. They should beat the Patriots. They better beat the brakes off the Patriots. Not just beat the Patriots. They better beat the brakes off the Patriots. If this team's as good as they say they are, they absolutely better do that. Then you got 2 division games. You better win those 2. You better win those 2. Because if you lose one of those, you're in a really bad spot. So, listen, the ball's in your court, 49ers. But to me, to talk this much after losses, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it whatsoever.